Figuring out how to be a better steward of your creative small business's finances or upping your profit margin isn't one of your New Year's goals, you would be one in a million. When I asked what you wanted to talk about, a ton of you requested stuff like this, so I'm going to talk about the thing you're not supposed to, money. In this video, I'm going to break down how I created a business budget. I hope you like spreadsheets because I'm going to take you through my Finance Friday workflow. And stay tuned till the end. I'm going to tell you the exact percentages I do, like the envelope system in my business. Poor financial management is the #1 reason that most businesses fail. And you see all those scary statistics about how many businesses don't make it to year 5 or year 10. This is where the battle is fought and won. Hey there, I'm Ashlyn. I left corporate marketing for freelance copywriting back in 2016, built a dynamite team, and have since sold more than 1.26 million in copywriting services to more than 240 copy clients as a full-service copywriting agency. Along the way, I coined the phrase copywriting for creatives and launched the Copy Bar, serving up copy templates, courses, and subscriptions for the creative set. Plus, I've cultivated an engaged community of hundreds of creative entrepreneurs and some of the best people on the internet inside the Copy Bar Collective. As a working mama of 3, I'm here to show you proven strategies to help you make more money with your words so you can then turn around and work from a place of more rest, less hustle. Let's go. I'm going to start out with how to create a business budget. Fun fact I found when researching this video, freelancers have contributed $1.27 trillion to the United States economy in 2023. Fantastic, but are you paying yourself? Some of you have heard me say, I did not pay myself regularly the entire first year that I was in business. I could sell, I know I could do that. I worked in marketing, worked in sales, but when it came in, I had no idea where to put it. So I just let it sit there. It was terrible. It caused about as many marriage arguments as you can imagine. But I did that. I don't know if you can relate. I did that because I had no idea what percentage or chunk I needed to take. So it was an absolute blessing when I met my now dear friend Shanna Skidmore and I walked through her curriculum called the Blueprint Model. I lead people through it. Look down below if you want more info or want to hop on the wait list. But here's the gist and the big mindset shift that I had. The first step in making your business budget is starting with enough, and you tell the system what enough is. You don't let the system tell you. That's basically me saying I figure out the salary that I need to cover our expenses, and then I reverse engineer and work backwards from that to build our business goals and financials. So here's what you're gonna do. Start with your family or personal spending plan. We can use the B word, budget if you want, but where is your personal money going? Some of you right now are thinking, great, I also don't have that. Sometimes it's pretty easy to hop in a tool like mint.com and have your expenses of the past year go in and look at a quick pie graph. You can kind of understand what you need to make. Adulting. I totally get to that this may not be your thing. So like I said, towards the end of this video, I'm gonna walk you through my Finance Friday workflow plan because I spend about 15 minutes every single week on our entire finances for our business and our family. So if I set that budget up once and I kind of know where our money's going, it works for the year. How detailed you get is up to you. I like really granular details. I want every single subscription I have in there. But this is step 1 because as an entrepreneur, moving from the mentality of your capped salary that somebody hands you a check for to, okay, here's what I need to make. Now I get to be creative and figure out all the different ways that I can come up with this money. That is so much fun. And a lot of us thrive on that kind of mentality. By the way, I have a lot of these tips broken down into a freebie. You can look below and grab 7 steps to get financially set in your creative small business. And I know I usually talk about copywriting over here, but I'm hanging out on finances because I can't help you sell anything if you just have an expensive hobby. Number 2 step in building your budget, figure out how much it costs to keep the lights on in your business. This is finding the overhead. Shout out to mostly digital businesses. Lucky ducks to you. Your overhead is usually pretty low. I asked my dad one time, he's in construction, I asked him what their profit margin was, and I thought, we have it really easy in digital land. For you, this is your hard cost. All those softwares that you have, and again, I'll show you in just a sec how I keep track of all of those. Contractors you may have, education that you're spending on, coffee, all those kinds of things go here. Here's another tool that you can build once, build it really well, and then all you have to do every single year after that, and it's so fantastic, you just update it. Let me flip the camera around and show you. This is my business blueprint, like where the money in my business goes. And here is the easiest little hat trick. Anytime you buy a new software or sign up for something, all you need to do, just keep this pinned in your bar, your business blueprint. All I do when I add a new subscription or find out I have to have a new software, cancel an old software, I go in here and I just update it. So I always know how much of our business money is required to cover software. Okay, step 3, you're gonna set your pricing based off that info that you just gathered. So those were 2 things. That was how much it costs to keep the lights on and what your salary needs to be. And then you're gonna set your prices based off that plus the market. Now, this could be a whole episode in and of itself, so that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna do a whole episode on this here in a couple of weeks. But my hot take is that whole charge what you're worth mentality. No, Chad, that's terrible advice, because what if no one wants what you do? There has to be some sort of supply and demand factored in. Again, more on that later. Subscribe so you don't miss it. But the quick back of napkin math on that would be, if you know that you need to bring in $100,000 and your copywriting packages, whatever you do, are $4,000 each, then you know within a year you need to do about 25 clients, which boils down to about 2 per month. And if that sounds exhausting to you and you can't fit that in, then you need to tweak some things, whether it be prices, whether it be the package, the container itself. Here's another little rule of thumb here. I just talked about profit margin. I like to run my business, again, mostly digital, at that 40-50% mark. That's my sweet, happy spot. Love to see it. We love to see it. Depending on what's going on in the market and the economy, it can ebb and flow a little bit. 30s. I talked about in a recent video last year when I only launched once and did 2 little flash sales. I hired and I took tons of time off to have a baby and move states. We had an 11% profit margin, which is kind of slim, but we did profit. And one thing to note as you build your business, people are always going to be the most expensive thing on your whole list, and that's okay. They should be. Gotta pay that team. I'm about to tell you how I track all of this every week, but one big takeaway from 2023 for me was when my friend R.E.A. Shinebean, this is what he looks like, go to him and learn finances and investing from him. He said this, or at least this is my interpretation of what he said. If you are able to build a business, buy your own design, take a paycheck from it, cover your costs, and you enjoy what you do, and it's a lifestyle business that allows you to work the hours you want to work, spend the time with your family that you want to, you have hit the jackpot. You know how many people never get to do that? That's a huge blessing. And you should, to a level, worry about your profit margin, and you do want to not be spending exactly what you bring in, obviously. You want a healthy profit margin. But sometimes it's a good reality check to remember that if you can pay yourself, and again, I'm going to talk more about that in a future video, and you've built a lifestyle business, that's pretty incredible. This does mean you're paying yourself, so that's what I'm going to talk about now. My Finance Friday workflow routine that I've been doing, oh my goodness, over 5 years now. It's fun. It now takes about 15 minutes. But on Fridays, I come into the office and here's what I do. Step 1, I categorize our personal family expenses. So I like mint.com and I'm just going in quickly and saying that Costco order was baby supplies because it was diapers. That money I spent on Amazon was gifts budget because it was a birthday present. For business expenses, I have a bookkeeper, Madison. I love my Madison. And I hop over into Slack where she and her team have said, hey, we don't know where these things that you spent money on go. Can you tell us? And I go down the list quickly and I just tell them where to file those. At this point, we've worked together long enough that they know where things file. But hiring a bookkeeper was the 4th hire I did in my business. Well, technically, I had 2 employee hires, 1 outsourced designer, and this was the 4th thing. Retrospect, should have done it first. Because I used to spend my entire Friday trying to do this and figure it out. And it just became easier for me to go out and do what I'm best at, making money, and then let somebody else do the bookkeeping. But yeah, step 1, I categorize our personal expenses as our personal family bookkeeper, and I look at what Madison and her team have brought in, and I'm telling them where those things go. Time it takes, about 2 minutes. Next, I pay off all credit cards. So I'm hopping into the accounts and wiping them clean, paying them off. Shout out to my fellow people who love a good points system. I grabbed my wallet to show you this has been such a good credit card for our business. Do I need to do the influencer thing? It's the Capital One Spark card. This is not an ad. It's just been a great card because you get Amazon points. And then when I go in Amazon to get things for our family, things we need around the house, I use the points. It's basically free. Girl math. REA is the one who told me to get that card. It's been fantastic. Step 3 of Finance Friday is making sure accounts receivable is paid up. That is an extremely nerdy, fancy, over my head way to just say, have people paid you. Have your clients paid their bills. In a tool like HoneyBook, it's easy to see what's still lingering, and you can even just click send reminder and it'll send people a reminder. So that's what I do on Fridays. If you have a course and education side of your business and you have payments that need to come in, it's a whole can of worms because it's a little bit harder. You'll never get all the money when you sell courses and have payment plans. People's credit cards will fail, they'll ghost. It's just cost of doing business. My team's handled this 2 ways. One was on our own, just like keeping a little system and reaching out to people. That was hard. We've used Gravy for the past few years and it's been fantastic because they handle all of that. Gravy became much more manageable when we were having bigger launches and having hundreds of students come into our programs. We were a tiny team, we couldn't keep up with that. But that's step 3. Have your people paid you. If you're a services-based business, it's pretty easy. Then step 4, this is the fun one, the envelope system. Read it if you haven't, Profit First by Mike McAlowicz. The TLDR, you gotta pay yourself first. Remember when you were little and you got your allowance and your parents said, you need to put some in savings, like always put some in savings first. Same concept, grown-up version. You're gonna need to set up different accounts in your bank. Here's a list on the side of the accounts that I have set up in our bank. And the big kahuna one is where everything comes. So all the money that you get from PayPal and Stripe and HoneyBook and wherever all your expenses are coming in, they go in that one big folder. Then on Fridays, you get to do the fun part and divvy it out into the other little envelopes, shall we say. I put 10% towards profit, so immediately the top 10% goes off and goes into the profit folder, 15% to taxes, 55% into operating expenses. Remember I told you I like to run about a 50 to 40% profit margin, and 20% to owner's draw. Those are the numbers that I landed on in that book, Profit First. I'll link it below. Mike, can I call him by his first name? He has entire exercises you can do to figure that out. Those were good rules of thumb for me. The side benefit is when you hop in every Friday and you can see what you made that week, you start to get used to what the number is. And so you can kind of tell like, oh my gosh, we had kind of a bad week. We might need to change some things, or we had a great week. It's a little bit anecdotal evidence, but it still helps. I pay myself weekly from the owner's draw folder. When I get paid for being the copywriter in my business, I get it on payroll. I'm gonna break that down more in the pricing video, but overall, that's the routine. It's been fun. I get a little coffee and I do the routine. Again, takes 15 minutes, sometimes 30 if I'm like, what was that expense? What did I buy that day? So my system now is like a big blend and hodgepodge of the blueprint model and the Profit First method, plus little things I've picked up along the way and ways I like to operate. Oh, last tip I'll give you, we keep a scorecard in my business. It's our KPIs tracker, and every Monday, everybody on the team has a separate little thing that they go in and update, and that's like our weekly stats tracker. That's what it's called in our report card. I sell it inside the Copy Bar shop, but in this series I'm doing where I'm breaking down financials of my copywriting business, I'm gonna show little bits of it so you'll get to see it more. Don't forget, look down below, hop on the Blueprint Model waitlist if that intrigues you, and grab the freebie where I talk through 7 ways to get your small business financially set. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Next up, be sure to tune in because I'm gonna uncover the big bear of it all. How in the world do you price your services? Game on.